Okay, so for the next stage, we're going to start drawing above the left eye as you look at it. So as you can see, I've already started with a lighter colour. Now, when you look at your reference photo, you can see this one sort of starts off like with light browns, but ends up looking sort of quite orangey terracotta with quite a lot of pale streaks going through it. So I'm just going to have a look to see what colour. Actually, if I empty out my pencils on the desk, excuse the noise, I can see what colours I need to use. Sorry about the racket there. So I am going to have a look at using the Polychromos terracotta. So with this, if you haven't got this pencil or anything similar to it, you can use a standard orange pencil along with maybe sort of mixing it with a little light brown. So we are just going to do we're going to press lightly, and we're just going to go across the direction of the fur as I mentioned last time round, and we are going to just draw very lightly like this. Now just got to make sure we're plotting this properly. So this is the base of the ear, because we don't want the portrait to look flat. So I'm just going to keep following the lines of the fur. Just had a cup of tea given to me, so that's what the background noise was. And just keep going in that direction. Now you'll notice on your line art there is a lot more lines on it. So when you are actually transferring your line art to your paper with your Sarrel transfer paper, you can basically choose which lines you want to transfer across so that the it doesn't look too busy, and that's why I've kind of like got the gaps in between rather than having it completely covered. So just going through like that. As I say, it doesn't matter if it's looking overly messy at the moment, so I'm just plotting the colours in. Actually, what I'm going to do is get my kneadable eraser, just see if I can take out some of that pigment. As you can see, I don't know, well, you probably can't see, I'm not sure, but I've actually got this taped to the surface of the desk so that I can just keep it flat and it doesn't move. But you may, depending on how you feel comfortable, you may want to keep it in your book. Right, so then if I've plotted that bit in there, then you're just gonna, there you go, up like that, because that bit's quite a vibrant colour. And for next month's subscription box, what I'm planning on doing, as this is only the first one, that's why I've done it on this paper, just to get you sort of used to drawing and following along. But what I might, or what I will probably do, is actually give you different paper surface to draw on, just so that you can see the differences in your drawings. So as you can see, I'm following the angle of the fur, and I'm holding my pencil further up so that I can make sure it's lighter and I've got more free flowing movement in it. And then this way it starts to go over that way. So this part here is going to be lighter, and then what we'll do is actually then make it darker underneath by doing flick movements. Just try and keep in one area. Actually, well, I'm going to be doing this area, but I'm just trying to plot the different areas that the orangey brown is going to go into. So just make sure you keep the strokes of the pencil light, so just so that we can add more layers to it. And once you're starting to draw your picture, if there's anything that's not clear to you whilst we're doing it, or while we're doing it, then you can either send me a message by email, which is debbiehiscock@paulsandpencilsart.co.uk, or you can send a message, direct message on the Facebook group, and I can answer all questions there. And if you think it's something that other people would benefit from, then yeah, just do it as a post on the Facebook group, and then we can everyone else can sort of, you know, find out new things as well, just in case they're not clear on the subject. So I'm drawing this one, drawing a fox, because foxes are one of my favourite animals. But if it comes to it, you know, and there's a subscription box and there's an animal, you know, that you particularly want to draw, then you can either let me know on the Facebook page, or what I'll do as well is I will create a poll, and then everyone can vote what the next box is going to be, and then that way everyone gets a chance to draw the animal that they're looking, you know, their favourite animal. And it could be either domestic or wildlife. As you can see, we're starting with wildlife at the moment. So around this part here, the outline of it's black, so I'm just gonna, but this inside bit also has like the orangey terracotta part to it as well. So it's kind of like, there we go. Just gonna plot in the terracotta part of it. This one's going to have hints of darker tones underneath it, so there will probably be dark browns leading into blacks around here. So whilst I'm just doing the whole area, I'm just getting the base colours in. And then we can start layering up, I think, this bit downwards, but we'll still concentrate on this part of the animal until this part's done. Then that's when we'll start moving over a bit. But yeah, just get the foundation part down. So I'm going to want to take the pigment out of this a bit again. So it definitely is worth investing in a kneadable rubber. It doesn't need to be done immediately. You can use a normal eraser. But with this, I mean, you know, you can sort of shape it. You can point it so that you're not actually dabbing out a whole area. So you can just concentrate on one little bit, and it lifts a layer of pigment out. Because with this bit, it's going to be, you don't want a harsh line, because if you can see by the reference photo, it's, you know, there's quite a lot of wispy hair coming out. For the moment you can still see the lines, but you'll see more colour added to the top part. But here's the ear is, keep knocking the camera. The ear is quite fluffy, as you can see from the light coming from behind it, behind the box and the ear. And then what I'll do is, once I've got the base colour down of the terracotta, I'm going to put some glassine paper over the top so that I don't smudge out what we've done with the eyes so far. Now, if you don't have glassine paper, then you can use a folded up bit of paper over the top, and that will protect the drawing that you've already done. The good thing about drawing on this size paper is that, you know, it's a small project. You can take any size project, you can take as much time as you want on it, but you know, this is like, for starting out, it's actually quite a nice size to be starting out with, rather than having like an A4 or A3 or larger piece in front of you. It's not so daunting. So yeah, I'm going to have that over there. So then we're going to go over here, and this part is darker, but we're going in with the base colour of the terracotta, or if you haven't got that, then, you know, as I mentioned, the orange. So if you like doing flicking movements like this, it goes lighter at the end, so it looks like it's wispy, fluffy fur. Oh. Because also what we're going to do is we're going to, once we've added another layer of different colours on, we're going to start subtracting the colour. So you can either use the edge of the rubber that's in your subscription box, or you can invest in this Tombow eraser, which I know I've mentioned before, but it's a really good investment and not very expensive at all. It really is quite affordable. the good thing about filming these in different stages, you don't actually have to use, do this whole video in stages. You can always come back to it, so the video will be, you can be paused and you can come back to it at a later stage. So you can do it in even smaller bits, depending on how busy you are. You don't have to sort of slot a huge amount of times out for drawing, even if you say like you've only got like I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour window for drawing, then you can just draw this and just work on the video part that you're, of the stage that you're working on, and you don't have to actually complete it all in one go. Now at the moment, as I'm drawing this, the videos are going to be available as links, because they're actually on my YouTube account as private, but I can send you the links in emails for the time being. But for later boxes, I'm looking at actually creating QR codes for the whole video, which will end up going out in the subscription boxes. But I've just got something that I'm going to work on in the next box, but hopefully as soon as possible I can get those QR codes, and then you won't have to receive links via email. But if you do want the links as well as the QR codes, then by all means let me know, and in the Facebook group, and I'll send them to you. So although the lines are a bit dark around there, we're going to be adding darker pigment, so it's that's going to be covered up. And like round here, it's going to be darker colours. It's going to be browny black. And then we just got lighter colours around here. I'm just going to add that in slightly like that. And that goes down like that way. So again, we're paying attention to the direction of the fur. Now this bit here, although it looks white on there, I think we're going to do it as like a light grey. But it should show up okay, because it's going to have a dark background, but we can look at that when we come around to it. But this bit here is going to be the orangey browny colour. Now when you're looking at your reference photo along with watching the video, just really pay close attention to the direction of the fur, because it's not none of it's all in one in one direction. It's it just obviously goes around the actual bone structure of the animal's face. Right, so there's quite a strong line going down here. Just going to add that other layer on top of it there, because it's going to stand out more from this bit round here because that's lighter. And then we're going to Add another layer there. Right, okay, I think the time has come. We've got the base layer down, so I'm going to start working around the ear. So I am just, bear with me, going to go and get a piece of glassine paper. There we go. So, as you can see, it's a thin piece of paper. It's quite waxy, and it's going to protect the rest of the drawing whilst I work on the ear and the surrounding area. So we can start adding more layers to this bit. So I encourage you to work on one section and then move on to the next, because it's much better to keep control of. It's very easy to sort of keep darting around different areas, which can then sort of I think for me it sort of doesn't blend together properly. But I'm just going to be working on this part for the moment. So light, soft movements like that, short bursts. So as you can see, my hands are hot as well, which means it sticks to the paper. So you can see another good reason why I want to cover this up, because I don't want the pigment to come out on my hands. So we're going to put the dark part in first. So this part, actually, I am going to try and lift out a bit of this colour. There we go, because that is quite dark. Because with the sarrel paper that I enclosed in the boxes, it can come out sort of quite dark. And the good thing about sarrel paper is it can be used over and over. It has quite a few uses with it, so that's always a good thing, and it works out cheaper that way. And also you can use different colour sarrel paper on different colour surfaces. So for instance, if you're working on a darker surface, then you can, say for instance, I'm working on a black surface pastel matte at the moment on a pelican, which I've used for a recent draw along, and I used white sarrel paper to put down the line art, and because the animal itself has got a lot of white and light colour to its surface, so it actually looks really effective. But we will be having subscription boxes with birds. And that bit's still quite dark. Just going to lift a bit out. Right. So say if you haven't got any of this paper, then just find a piece of paper to fold up. I mean, you could even get one out of your printer if you've got one, but if not, any paper like note paper will be fine, as long as it's got nothing that's going to come out onto the actual drawing itself. more of these boxes and drawings that you have and you do, the more you'll be able to see that each section is just not one colour, and you'll become used to sort of picking out colours. I always find now when I'm out and about, I'm always find myself looking at the shape of things and the colours, and if I was drawing that item, you know, what colours would I use? Where would I put the shadow? Then it just comes to me automatically now. Right. Okay, so just want a bit more like that. I mean, I've not been sharpening my pencils. I mean, you can see it's in a fine point as it is anyway, but for doing it lightly, it should last. Then you won't have to sharpen it so much. Just going to have a look at this is a brown ochre. So if you haven't got the brown ochre for polychromos or anything from a similar brand, but you do have a light brown, then that would suffice. I'm just going to try and add some depth to this bit. I mean, it does need to be quite vibrant, this bit, so need to remember to turn off my phone notifications. Sorry about that. So I know this part's going to be a bit darker, so I'm just going to put this light colour on it first. So you can see that it looks like with this part of the fur, it starts coming up like that from the edge of the ear, and then what it does is starts going over. And then just follow it around like that, and it's quite a fluffy part of the ear again, because it's covering the opening part of the ear. Okay. Okay, so that's that part. So it's going to have the fluff light bit in front of it. So go back to the orangey browny colour again. Is what we want.